Hello everyone, I am Dr. Mohammad Miraj Alam, Assistant Professor of Economics, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. In this session of video, I will discuss the National Planning Committee. Bef- Before this video, I was discussing lots about the planning exercise in India and their objectives, targets, and their critical analysis. In this section of video, I will discuss National Planning Committee. This is the part of Indian economy which taught as a paper in the BA B.Ed program for the second semester student. Now I will discuss about the National Planning Committee. Before discussing National Planning Committee, I will discuss about the evolution of planning in India, the concept and evaluation of planning in India. Policymakers in India initiated the process of planning in order to attain certain objectives within a time frame. Right? These were particularly aiming at to speedy raise the level of living, which means the policymakers want to raise the standard of living of the people to catch up with the living standard of the industrially advanced countries. The policymakers, the thinkers, the economists want to upgrade the lives of millions of poor people in India parallel to the industrialized and European countries to produce a product mix which could sustain growth over a long period of time. The policymakers in India want to produce those mix of goods which are mixed to the which may sustain the long-term economic growth in India. To reduce the extent of existing inequality and the level of poverty in the country, as we all know, India is a historically poor country before independence and even after the independence. India was colonized almost 200 years by the Britishers and they exploited up to the maximum extent. They exploited our natural resources, they exploited our human resources. The exploitation of our resources as well as human resources has no limits. Further, the people of uh, India's uh, forced to being in the trap of poverty, living in the being of trap of poverty. The job of the policymaker and economist and the planning commissions was to remove the existing inequalities which was prevalent in the Indian society and poverty in the country. The inequalities was so rampant when the poor classes uh, become poorer day by day, and the richer classes were uh, more richer by day. To achieve these objectives, acceleration in the rate of growth in the economy was emphasized. To achieve these objectives, acceleration in the rate of growth in the economy was emphasized because in a rapidly growing economy, it becomes easier to tackle various problems. The role of state in the process of planning as a tool for accelerating growth and a structural break was well accepted even before independence. Very okay. This was the uh, evaluation of planning in India. Now come to the National Planning Committee, which is the topic I want to discuss. Okay, what was the history of planning? I will discuss again in the very brief. Okay, under the same head, National Planning Committee. Right, the National Planning Committee is the part of brief history of the planning in India. Jawaharlal Nehru was the architect of planning in India. Under his chairmanship, the National Planning Committee (NPC) was set up towards the end of the 1938. It is almost before. It is almost 9 years before when after India got independence. The committee considered all aspects of planning and produced a series of studies on different subjects concerned with the economic development. The committee laid down following recommendations. The state should own or control all key industries and services, mineral resources, railways, waterways, shipping, and other public utilities, and all those large scale industries which were likely to become monopolistic in character. Agriculture is crucial to draw up a scheme of national planning. The planning should aim at doubling the standard of living of the people in 10 years. The Gandhian plan, the second part is the Gandhian plan. Mahatma Gandhi was not a professional economist and did not develop a formal model of economic growth, but he advocated certain policies with regard to the development of Indian agriculture, small scale industry, etc. A Gandhian plan incorporating these policies was prepared by Sri Ram Narayan and Acharya S.N. Agarwala in 1944. This model forms the basis of Gandhian planning, sometimes also referred to as Gandhian model of development. Besides the National Planning Committee, 8 industrialists conceived a plan of economic development, which was popularly known as the Bombay Plan. The famous revolutionary M.N. Roy also formulated a plan generally referred to as the People's Plan. All these plans were of historical importance as there was no opportunity to implement them. Therefore, they remained on paper only. However, all these plans do indicate broad consensus about the importance of the role of state in the development process of the Indian economy. A role of state versus visualized in the planning process. Uh, In the early 1950s, it was believed that the state could play a significant role in developing economy, both in raising the domestic rate of saving and in putting it to more productive use. Indian economy was predominantly in rural character. It had land tenure system in which a substantial part of the surplus over subsistence needs of the cultivators and the farm laborers got appropriated by a small class of non-cultivating landowners and intermediaries, especially under Jamindari system and other feudal forms of tenure and used for non-essential consumption. Abolition of such exploitative and socially wasteful land tenure system could release surplus for productive investment through land reforms. Land reforms also refers to the redistribution of land from the big farmers to the landless agricultural laborers. This increases land productivity as well as improves the economic condition of rural poor as they are mainly landless laborers. Land reforms combined with taxation of agriculture are means of exploiting this potential. Both require a strong state intervention. The state has to take the primary responsibility for providing elementary education, basic health care, safe drinking water, and other facilities. These are the basic needs in any civilized society and in the Indian economy. All these things were at very low level as discussed above. These also have substantial beneficial effect on the general low level of productivity. Direct state intervention is necessary and justified due to the strong positive external economies associated with these basic services for the community as a whole. Projects such as road network, major irrigation work, steel plant, railways, etc. call for investment on the scale for beyond the capacity of individual investors. They are in the nature of natural monopolies, also known as the public utilities, and form a category where direct involvement of the state is deemed justifiable. In most cases, even if the private sector is allowed to operate, the need for effective mechanism to define and enforce standards norms of efficiency, fair rate of return on investment, and the like is universally accepted. All of these call for the state regulation, though not necessarily direct ownership and operation. The government can also help development by creating conditions which induce people to invest more. Low rates of saving are reflection of low levels of income. A relatively stagnant, slow-growing economy implies that profitable opportunities for investment are limited. State interventions can help expand such opportunities in several ways by creating environment conducive for faster growth. State did this job very reflectively in the Indian economy till about mid-60s, but in the later period it got into whole lot of economic activities and at the cost of ignoring its essential roles like education, health, and sanitation, etc. Public mobilization of ideal or underemployment labor for creating productive assets, especially roads, irrigation, canals, land improvement, schools, rural hospitals, etc., increases the potential productivity of private resources and thereby creating profitable expenditure can enlarge the scope for profitable investment by creating additional demand for goods and services. Both these effects are likely to be considerably strengthened if there is a coordinated program of investment for balanced development, ensuring that supplies of key inputs and services grow in step with the with the demand for them. This aspect is particularly important in the case of activities which are closely interrelated with a coordinated program. The risk of shortage or excesses of particular goods or services will substantially reduce. Reduced risk induce business to invest more. Planning in independent India. The planning process formally started in India after the attainment of independence when Government of India set up the Planning Commission in March 1950. Uh, the Planning Commission was the body which was monitor the plans, which was finalize the plans, targets, objectives, and etc., which was established in 1950. The responsibility for overall planning was vested with the Planning Commission. The Commission's mandate was quite wide to access the country's need of material and capital and human resources and to formulate plan for their more balanced and effective utilization, to review all important programs and projects before they are approved for implementation, to determine the pool of resources to be developed to development and the allocation of the pool between various uses and users, and the monitoring and evaluation of their progress. Though Planning Commission is was an advisory body, it was expected that the commission would be consulted on all major matters of development policy. Its composition was such that experts' professional opinion could be brought to bear on all important matters and at the same time ensure that its counsel will carry sufficient weight in the Council of Government. Successive five-year plan has sought to concertize the development strategy, program, and priorities to realize the general vision of growth with social justice within the framework of democratic quality and a mixed economy. The shape and content of successive plans show a certain evolutionary process reflecting changing ideas and precautions on the potential and constraint on development, the relative emphasis on different objectives, and the compulsion of political and economic exig- exigencies at various point in time. The basic objective and issues of economic development in India have been growth, modernization of economy, self-reliance and social justice, mainly reduction in economic economic inequalities and the removal of poverty. Okay, this is okay. This is it was all about the planning committee in India. Thank you so much for watching again. Uh, I will appear in next video on the next topic. Thank you so much.